Last night, the House of Commons erupted into chaos as MPs walked out over the Speaker's handling of the ceasefire Gaza vote.
Well, the Minister for Women's Health Strategy, Maria Caulfield, was there. She joins us now. Maria, I think when we look at the sort of net result of what was achieved yesterday, many people feel ashamed of the state of affairs. I mean, what was achieved? Do you feel proud of what happened yesterday?
No, absolutely not. You know, this is not why I got into politics, to be having scenes like that last night. I think the Speaker recognises that his actions of trying to get a Labour vote before the SNP vote spectacularly backfired. That was against the advice of the clerks of the House of Commons. He came to the House last night to apologise that his actions caused such chaos, and he is meeting with Chief Whips and the Leader of the House today to take it forward. But, you know, I can only apologise to the public. It was such a sensitive issue. I had hundreds of constituents contact me about that vote from all sides of the debate. We've still got hostages who are being held. We've still got a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. That's certainly not the sort of scenes that I wanted to be part of last night.
I think, Maria, and I really appreciate you being on. I know we'll talk about the certain issue in a tick, but I think this is such the biggest story. And one of my bugbears in politics is I've always believed that people should go and vote. If you complain, you know, put your vote in that box. You have to understand, you allude to it, I'm not sure a lot of your colleagues do, the British public are fed up. That was beyond embarrassing, and whatever the whys and wherefores, whether, you know, Lindsay Hoyle had a whisper in his ear from the Labour Party because, you know, polls will say they'll be the next government, whether it was politicking or not. Yesterday, the Hamas news agency, and as Peter Carbo said, do we believe that 107 people died? And you lot, and I'm being completely honest, walking off in a huff, arguing. It was absolutely embarrassing on a national scale. And I'm not surprised, and I'm really delighted that you're honest, because there will be thousands, hundreds of thousands of people up and down this country going, what the hell have we got as a political system? You'd understand that, wouldn't you, Maria?
No, absolutely. You know, I was a nurse for 25 years. I got involved in politics because one of my local hospitals were being closed by the then government. You know, I didn't come in to play politics either on a small scale or on a large scale. I want to get things done, as does the government. You know, the fact that I'm on here this morning to try and talk about baby loss certificates that we're launching and we're still talking about last night just proves the point that, you know, this is doing huge damage. This is why people are fed up with politics and politicians. And the Speaker of the House knows that he got it badly wrong. He was advised by the clerks of the House of Commons not to go down this route, that it would cause the chaos that it did, and he still did it. And, you know, the rumours are that Labour were going to lose that vote quite heavily and influence the Speaker. I hope that is not the case, because it was too important an issue to play politics with, and it is dominating the headlines. And I can only apologise to people that they were the scenes last night. And you know, for the SNP, they get 3 opposition day debates in a parliamentary term. They chose this topic and wanted to have a vote on the record, and it was taken away from them, and that's why they walked out. They wanted to vote, and that's why they walked out. But it's, you know, very, very disappointing scenes last night.
Maria, you said that you hope it wasn't the case that the Speaker was influenced. Can you just explain the tweet that you posted yesterday? I want to get it completely right. You said, now we know why Sue Gray was on the Speaker's corridor ahead of the start of the Opposition Day debate and then outside the Labour's whip office. It seems there that you were pretty sure that you felt that there had been some kind of whispered words.
Can we explain who Sue Gray is?
The Speaker said he hadn't even bumped into her in the corridor.
Yeah, so, you know, Sue Gray was in the corridor yesterday. She was having some heated conversations with Labour MPs. It was pretty clear in the chamber, and I'm not alluding that the Speaker met with Sue Gray, but it was pretty clear in the chamber yesterday before that vote. There was an hour of points of orders after Prime Minister's question time. They called a vote on what's called a 10-minute rule bill, which we never vote on, all to delay the start of that debate. It was clear there were negotiations going on in the Labour Whip's office with their own MPs to try and get them over the line.
I get that, and I want to explain to people, because, you know, we should assume people don't know everything. Sue Gray is the lady that did the report into Boris Johnson, brought down his premiership, is now the Chief of Staff for Sir Keir Starmer, having on a gardening leave from the civil service. Make of that what you will. You implied then by your tweet that she was there pulling strings. And a lot of people this morning, the Sun are saying as well, would the Speaker have done the same for the Tories? Or is this an example of the Labour Party's growing influence, that the fact that people assume because of polls they will be the next government? And did Sir Lindsay Hoyle, because here's the question, Did he take it? Did he think, oh, I better do this? Did somebody have... Well, let me ask you a question, Maria Caulfield. Is Sir Lindsay Hoyle's position untenable, yes or no?
Well, I voted for Lindsay as Speaker of the House of Commons, so I was a big Lindsay Hoyle fan. But, you know, his actions yesterday, I'm very disappointed in. There is a notice of what's called an EDM, calling a confidence vote on the Speaker. He did apologise last night, which, you know, I give him credit for doing that. He will be meeting the Leader of the House. It will depend on what he says over the next 24, 48 hours. There can be no question that a Speaker of the House of Commons is influenced by their own political party, and we need to be absolutely clear on that. We can't function if there's bias in the chair of the House of Commons. And so the Leader of the House, Penny Mordaunt, will be meeting with him to discuss that. My confidence is shaken in him, you know, and I made that pretty clear yesterday.
What he was saying, we believe, is that he wanted to allow all sides to be able to express their views, and he was very, very concerned about the security of MPs who've received personal threats. If that was the justification for the decision he made, that's a legitimate one, isn't it?
Well, of course, it's a legitimate one. We had the debate. It was a 5-hour debate. He still could have taken those votes in the order which they would normally come in with the SNP. It was their day, their motion, their vote. They could have voted first and then called in the Labour vote. But we know that there was about 80 Labour MPs that were not going to support the Labour whip and would have voted with the SNP. And Keir Starmer was obviously very worried about that, as was, you know, Sue Gray was in the corridor trying to influence those Labour MPs. But again, you know, we're talking about this today when there are such significant issues, you know, such as baby loss and, you know, trying to support parents who lose a baby, that, you know, this is dominating the headlines.
I'm sorry,
and this is
talking about important issues, wasn't the Speaker trying to stop what's happening in Gaza becoming political football? And what happened yesterday was quite the opposite.
No, I agree with you, and I think he recognises he got it wrong. That's why he came to the House of Commons to apologise for going against the Clerk of the House advice, who warned that this is exactly what would happen, and to apologise to MP for the chaos that descended and the fact that the SNP then couldn't vote on their own motion because they were calling for an immediate ceasefire.
I have to say, I respect you enormously. You've answered every single question you've come on. Let's talk about specifically, you made the point you were a nurse, you got into politics to make a difference. And fair play to you for being as straight as you've been this morning. You've said your confidence in the system and the Speaker is shaken. Baby loss certificates is your announcements this morning, launched to support parents who have experienced a loss of pregnancy before 24 weeks. Tell us more, Maria Caulfield.
Yeah, so up until now, parents who lose a baby before 24 weeks have not been able to register their birth, not been able to get a birth certificate or an official acknowledgement that their baby ever existed. And, you know, we're doing a lot of work on pregnancy loss. We're trying to reduce the amount of babies that are lost each year. We've got our stillbirth rates down by 25% and our neonatal deaths down by 30%. But babies still will die. And for those who die before 24 weeks, we felt it was really important that parents were able to officially recognise their baby and officially recognise their loss. So from today, parents can go on the .gov.uk website, they can put in the details of their baby, the parents' names as well, and then they'll be sent an official certificate in recognition. It won't take away the pain and the grief, but it will be some small way of recognising their loss. We're only going to 2018 onwards at the moment because we want to make sure the system has got capacity, but we want to make sure that every parent, whenever they lost their baby, will be able to do this. Because I've met parents in their 70s who lost a baby decades ago, and it hurts as much today as it did then. And this is just a small thing we can do just to help those bereaved parents.
The other thing that's subject of a lot of debate today is, of course, the rights of women going through the menopause. We've been talking about it at some length this morning. Employers could be sued for disability discrimination if they fail to make reasonable adjustments for menopausal women. There's some... Are we saying that going through the menopause is a disability?
Well, so nothing actually. I know what the Commission is trying to do here. And we are desperately trying to raise the profile of the menopause in the workplace and improve the experience of women. We lose about 1 in 10 women go through the menopause. The most experienced women in the workplace feel that they can't continue. We're not changing the laws, we're not changing the rules. The Equality Act says that if you're discriminated against because of your sex or your age or a disability, you can take a claim against your employer. That's not changing. What we want to do as a government is actually support employers. Most of the employers, and I meet lots up and down the country, want to keep the most experienced women in the workplace. They just want advice and support on how to do that. And simple things like ventilation in an office, even the uniform that a woman wears at work can make a difference to how she gets through the menopause, time off to see the GP. All of those small things can make a big difference. I'd rather go down that route and support employers, but the law is there to protect anyone who feels they've been discriminated against. And I think that's the point the Commission was making, but we're not changing the rules. We're not putting extra burdens on employers. We want to support women in the workplace and support employers to make the difference that will help women going through the menopause.
Maria Caulfield, I really respect you for coming on this morning. Thank you for joining us on Talk today and being honest about the debacle that was the House of Commons last night.